What's up, everybody? My name is Jim. I work for Reverb.com. Thanks for joining us. I'm here sitting next to one of my favorite guitar players. This is Annie Clark of St. Vincent. Thanks for spending the time with us.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome. So first and foremost, we got a couple new guitars. Well, it's not a new guitar, but it's a couple new paint jobs, right?
Yeah, I went up to the Ernie Ball factory, and we had a powwow, and I was thinking white would be classy. I call that the Thin White Duke.
Yeah.
After David Bowie.
I was gonna say Bowie reference.
Bowie ref, deep cut, not that deep. And then this guitar is sort of a chameleon, so this one's more like my Angus Young homage. We've got another one with a tobacco burst, which is classy, kind of 70s, Firebirdy. And then this one is stealth black, so I fucking love this one. I love this one. It's just like evil.
Is there? I mean, I've seen tours before, and there's a pretty high, there's an aesthetic on stage, right? So, are the colors kind of driven kind of by what you're thinking with your artwork on your record or your tour?
Yeah, I feel like black and white will always work on stage, and I think there's a certain angularity in the design that's just transferable to maybe my whole aesthetic.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
Yeah.
I mean, did you listen to? I mean, you just mentioned Angus Young, so you're obviously listening to the others guitar heroes, and now.
I mean, I love the guitar.
Yeah.
I love it so much. A lot of my guitar heroes are like guitar anti-heroes, like Fripp, Ballou, Mark Rebo, like the kind of people who put make the hair on the back of your neck stand up because the note is like hurty.
Yeah, Rebo.
Yeah. Oh, I love him so much.
His work with Tom Waits is some of my favorite guitar work of all time.
It's the best guitar work.
Yeah. So I mean, in present day pop culture, pop music, guitar is actually kind of being pushed to the side a little bit. Do you feel that you're kind of trying to keep it in, or?
I mean, I think it's all about the framing. Every few years, somebody says guitar is dead, or EDM is dead, or whatever, you name it. Everything, jazz is dead. And it's just simply not the case. It's gonna get reinvented, and the cycles are going to continue, and kids are gonna get tired of, Ableton, or not even tired of Ableton, process their guitar through Ableton and just merge all the technology and everything, but the guitar's never gonna die or anything.
Yeah. And I remember reading way back when that you were doing a lot of work like recording into GarageBand, right? Do you still do a lot of that?
I've graduated to Logic and Pro Tools.
Nice.
But no, I was working in GarageBand because I was writing guitar parts in MIDI.
Right.
So I was writing stuff that wouldn't have been intuitive to play, and then learning how to play it, because I just wanted to get out of the rote muscle memory patterns that you have as a guitar player.
What's that process like? I mean, you're really just kind of sitting there with the interface, drawing in dots until it sounds good?
It is tedious as fuck. It's so tedious.
Yeah. And that's probably why you don't do it as much anymore.
I don't do it as much anymore.
That's great. But I mean, pedals. I mean, pedals are a big part of your live band or your live stage. Do you use pedals in the studio and to the same effect, or are you more in the box with that sort of stuff?
I've been using. I bought 2 Kempers off the 9 Inch Nails.
Yep.
And I was like, if it's good enough for Trent Reznor, because I love.
I said
the
the
9
same
Inch
thing
Nails.
about modular synthesizers, and I plugged it in and I can't figure out how to make it work. So just gotta
you
sit
and
with
me
it more.
both, pal.
Yeah. It's tough, man. There are a lot of knobs over there,
There's
and there are no frets.
many. So many.
Well, so back to the pedals. I mean, are there pedals that have kind of always kind of stayed in your rig, like no matter what? These are my desert island list of pedals.
There's a Boss Super Shifter pedal.
Yeah.
Not for the chorus effect, although that's pretty good, but for the dive bomb.
Yeah.
That I have a soft spot in my heart for.
Yeah.
So that's kind of been a mainstay, I guess, for a couple tours.
Yeah.
And then a lot of Eventide stuff, because my rig on stage is totally programmed.
Mm-hmm.
So
programmed somebody else off stage is kind of telling the pedal board when to turn on and turn off?
Ableton is telling the pedal board when to go where. So
You
if
shouldn't be
there's
talking shit about Ableton.
no, I
Is that-
wasn't. No shade on Ableton.
Yeah.
I would love some tutorials. My rig on stage is really techy, so there's a lot of pedals running into Kempers, running into actual physical amps.
Yeah.
And then I've got a RJM Mastermind, and Ableton is telling my guitar when to go to which section. And the great thing about the Eventide H9s and things like that is that they're MIDI.
Yeah.
And they're controllable and they're programmable, so all of that stuff, it's a whole
Totally. I have a friend who runs front of house on people's tours, and instead of having, every time you come to a new venue, he's doing small clubs, stuff like
Yeah.
that. Every time you come to a new venue, you have this rack, and you never know what's going to be in that rack. So
Yeah.
he just brings 3 Eventide H9s.
Oh,
and
yeah.
That's what he runs through all of his aux sends, and he runs the whole show like that.
It's incredible. Yeah. We did a similar thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's the thing. Like it's all getting smaller and smaller.
Yeah.
And that the Kemper that I was using a lot on tour is 9 pounds.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
when you're flying across the world, I
Yeah.
mean, I would love to travel with a Marshall stack.
Sure.
Or I would love to travel with like a Marshall plexi head.
Yeah.
Like I can't afford to. You know what I mean?
Undoable.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
You bought something on Reverb a long time
Yes.
ago. We talked about it last year, and I wanted to tell this story real quick.
Hit me.
So I wake up in the morning, and I get a notification from one of my friends that says, I think Annie Clark bought a guitar on Reverb last night.
Yeah.
And I said, oh my God, Annie Clark bought a guitar. Awesome. And then I saw that the transaction got canceled, and somebody else had bought it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man. And I reached out and I was like, hey, I'm really sorry. I want to buy you a guitar. I want to buy you a guitar. When I talked to you about this last year, you said that you had been drinking or something, and you made a
Yeah.
purchase.
Oh, it might have been during a period where I was having trouble sleeping and taking Ambien. It was like Ambien and a glass of white wine, and I'm surprised I didn't buy the whole fucking store. Right.
It was hilarious. You guys should have seen this guitar. I wish I had a picture of it. It was an old Harmony Bobcat, but the guy who owned it had made it look like Eddie Van
It looked
Halen's
like
Frankenstein.
yes, it was yes, that's what it was. I was like, yes.
If there's one person that
Synergy.
needs this guitar, I tried to buy it back from that guy, and he wouldn't
Oh.
sell it. It's like, no, this is like my favorite guitar. It's like,
Oh.
oh, it's
Thank you.
all yours.
Thanks for the effort.
All right, well, thanks so much for joining us, everybody here. Obviously, you can find all these Ernie Ball Music Man guitars on Reverb all day long. You should check them out. Thanks again, Annie.
Thank you.